So I decided to do my zing on the double standards inside of a court case when determining if someone's guilty or not. So I chose what happened on the Halloween night of 2015 when the victim, whose name shall not be disclosed, was raped and sexually assaulted, and she took that to court. So what happened was, if we break it down, we have Mr. Khan, who is her attacker. So on a Halloween night, they decided to go out. They did not go together. So we had the victim with a group of friends, and then we have Mr. Khan. So they met up at the party. She got a little bit intoxicated to the point where she lost her friends and she didn't know where she was at. And from there, Mr. Khan took her intoxication as a yes. He read her silence as a yes, which means no. Silence means no. Let's just get that out of the head. And from there, he took her and helped her in the dorm, and she recalls she was passed out, but she recalls waking up in the middle of the night with his body pressed up against her, and before she passed out again. And then she doesn't recall anything else until the next day. She wakes up to find herself completely nude, but she specifically remembers she didn't take her clothes off. Now, 2 days later, she went to they went to the sexual assault resource center that is located on their campus, since they are both students at Yale University, which is a very good school, but there's a lot of things that get undercover to keep that title going. And so from there, she notified the officers on campus on November 2nd. So this was 2 days after the crime. So she went and notified them, and they suspended Mr. Khan. From there, they went to court. So the very first thing that they did was they took victim blaming to the max. So they broke it down into pieces on what happened that night from what would benefit Mr. Khan. So what they did was they broke it down from the beginning. So from there, they said that she was asking for it because before the party even started, they were friends on this mutual campus and they were texting back and forth. Yet they didn't have any evidence to show that there was any flirtation or anything going on. It was just a, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Do you want to study? A, B, and C. So they took that as an initiative that she was asking for something more than a friendship or a study partner. From there, they took it to the party scene. They said, well, she was drunk. So they're referring to her being intoxicated and having a good time as a yes, come make my body a crime, which is not okay. From there, they then went to what she was wearing, victim blaming to the max. She was wearing a cat costume because it was a Halloween party, so they took that as another initiative to say, yes, she was wearing something very showy, she was asking for it, she wanted attention, why didn't she dress something more modest? But to me, that's where there's a block, because it doesn't matter what you're wearing. No one has the right to grab onto your body, do anything to your body, or anything if you don't say yes. And being silent does not mean no, which she was because she was intoxicated. From there, I also was able to conclude that he came from a very wealthy family, so they were able to grab these lawyers. He thought, oh, I got this in the bag, like, I'm a good student, which they did use in court as well. They said he would never do something like that because he was a good student, but apparently not good enough because he did something he committed a crime. That's what happened. And from there, also at the same time that all of this was going on, so was the Me Too movement. So that also was added onto it. So they thought, oh, she's just doing this for show. She's just trying to grab attention, make her own statement, get her spot in like the day, get her own daylight. But that's not true as well. So that's the first part that I do want to talk about, and why I decided to do this thing is, of course, the double standards. If it was reversed, people would be like, oh, it's fine, like, you're a guy, just take it. But when it's a girl, she's asking for it, which is very false, and it's not okay. Because when girls tell people, oh, I slept with this person, they're looked at as whores, sluts, etc. But when guys do it, they get high fives. And why do they get acknowledged and are getting benefited for doing the same thing that the woman is doing? That's not okay. So that's one of the key factors. The second one is victim blaming, which I also want to add on to, because it's very odd to me that in rape cases, the victim always becomes the abuser or the everything. But that's not true, because the victim is her own crime scene. She has to live with that. It's not a crime that boom, it's done. It's a recurring wound that keeps on opening, and it just doesn't, it heals with time, and people don't understand that sometimes people heal in different manners. And so I also wanted to break down the 3 definitions of sex, consent, and rape. So sex is defined as sexual activity, including specifically sexual intercourse. Consent is permission for something to happen or agreement to do something. With this one though, we do have some different parts of it, because consent can be said yes, and through it, in the middle of the action, she can change her mind, or he, this goes both ways, and they can say no. Once no is said, it needs to stop. And then from there, consent can be done different ways. They can say no, and then they can change their mind, say yes, back and forth, doesn't matter. But once no comes out of that individual's mouth, the intercourse must stop, because then after that, it's not consensual. And then we go on to rape. So rape is the unlawful sexual intercourse of any sexual penetration of the vagina, anus, mouth of another person with or without force by a sex organ, other body, or foreign object without the consent of the victim. Now, when it comes to rape cases, a lot of people think that it's some guy in a black hoodie walking down the street. It's a complete stranger, but that's not true. Actually, it shows that in most cases, the abusers are known by the victim, their friends, boyfriend, cousins, brothers, etc. But there is a relationship there. There is a trust that has just been broken. I think that this thing would be very helpful for many people to be aware of, because it's a recurring issue. Most of us are in college. We need to be exposed to these situations. We need to be exposed to how we can handle it, what to do in the action of it, and what to do after. And that can't happen if there's no communication about it. Yes, it's a hard topic to talk about, but it would be harder to deal with if something does happen. Now, if anything of any sort, you know someone that's going through anything yourself, or you have a gut feeling that something is wrong, trust it. And then there is the National Sexual Assault Hotline. They are free, it's confidential, and it's available to you 24/7. Now, the number for that is call 800-656-HOPE. And then I also want to add in a little quote in there just to give some positivity to this. So be strong, because things will get better. It may be stormy now, but never will it rain forever. So just keep that in mind. There is a rainbow at the end of this, even though it might seem kind of cloudy right now. And then what I used to get all my sites and to make sure that things that I'm saying are correct, I used the article of Yale student found not guilty in the rape trial. So this is posted by the New York Times, and this was updated and posted and edited on March 7th, 2018. So it's about 2-ish years old, so it's still pretty recent. It was just kind of hard to find some more information on it, just because for the victim's privacy, she did want to remain confidential. And then the second one that I did use was this guideline book, and it shows, it's called The Complete Guide to Teaching Kids Consent at Every Age. That one is by Deborah Witherspoon, and it was posted on October 1st of 2018. So that one's a really good one if you are a parent, you're around kids. It's just a way to break down how to bring up this awareness, how to talk about it, how to sex talk and all that stuff, and how to bring about any uncomfortable situations that may occur and how to handle them. So I think that pretty much sums up my thing. There's plenty more to go on. So if you want to, just go ahead and, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second just because I got too emotional. These make me really sad because I am a female on a campus college, and I'm there pretty late sometimes, and it's just sad that we have to teach girls not to wear clothes instead of teaching men to control their thoughts and not persuade them into actions. But hopefully with more awareness, there'll be more positivity in the outcomes. So that's it.